All right, I am making this video, guys, so that you will see a little bit more about how the Enclave or Kachai management system actually works. This is the actual app as you guys have it, but it's the one that I actually have deployed. And so I'm going to just log in so you can see what it is. Um, I mean, this is it. I don't have the new version, but I've got the original. But what I wanted you to see was how it actually interacts with the rest of the world so that you know where all the data is coming from. So one more thing, the other thing that I'm going to show you here is the Kachai dashboard. Here, real quick. So again, you guys are used to seeing this. This is where a lot of the data that you guys are being able to play with comes from. I can choose different spots to pull the data from. And you'll see things. There are different nodes and so on. But let me go back to the reason that I made the video because I think that it might be a little bit confusing as to how exactly we are planning on using um, the UI for Kachai. And so what I wanted you to see was what the Kachai looks like from a deployment standpoint. It is three physical nodes. You see them here, Dev A01, Dev A02, Dev A03. Those are your physical nodes that are making up this particular Kachai. And those three nodes run Kubernetes. Let's see if I can find it's on here. Yeah, so there's your same nodes, Dev A01, O2, and O3. They're running Kubernetes in the cloud, separate from everything else in the cloud, just self-contained for themselves. And then in that Kubernetes instance, we have a bunch of applications deployed. So if I pull up here, I'll show you the applications that we're designing work for are etcd and Zookeeper. Um, and it also they use the applications that we've written there use the RabbitMQ instance to move data back and forth. Um, and so you just have a local instance of etcd as a stateful set. It's deployed into the cluster. You'll see it's running on node 1, node 2, and node 3. Zookeeper is also deployed into the cluster, running on, you guessed it, node 1, node 2, and node 3. Although for some reason right now it happens to be running twice on node 1, but I'll fix that in a little bit. But generally speaking, it's going to be running on each of the separate nodes. And here's the thing, what you're looking at for yours is also running over there. You guys are called Enclave Management is the deployment that I've created for you guys. And this is your UI application. It's deployed here as a replica set. As you can see, it's currently running right now on Dev A01. Eventually, I'll probably have more than one pod running at a time, so it's a little bit more redundant in the cloud. But that would be my plan. You are not connected to anything else other than into this Kubernetes cluster. And the reason for that is I just want a UI for the cluster without giving everybody the Kubernetes dashboard itself. Also in here in the cluster, you'll see we have Prometheus running, as well as Loki and some other things that we're not worried about right now. Prometheus is, of course, where all the data is coming from. It's currently running on Dev 02. And so what's going to happen with your deployment, um, the Enclave management, or what we'll change the name to Kachai management or Kachai UI, you will be talking to just the Prometheus instance that's running inside the cluster. And so that's why I want all of the configuration for the pods to be something that I can set um, at runtime. There we go. That's you. Um, this is your pod here. And you'll have lots of, things that I should be able to set. One of those will be being able to set access to the right Prometheus instance to run your query against, just like if it was Grafana. and that will be the local instance. The trouble is right now, even with the VPN, you can't get to this. If you look at my URL here, I've port forwarded several times to be able to get um, inside this particular Kachai to be able to show you. And so there's no way for you to really do development from outside. So what I want you to do is just um, develop the actual queries against the available dashboard or available data sources that I've made for everybody. So, and this dev A upscale particular instance here is the exact same as this metric server Prometheus instance that's running inside of the dev A Kachai. I've made it so that I can talk to it from outside. So I've made it available so that you can access it uh, to run queries against it now. So for example, I can run query against this dev A instance. I can pick a new metric like to etcd. Let's explore here. So there's the etcd cluster version. If I run the query for that, um, you'll see that those names of those pods come right back up again. I think I can make this into a table. Yeah. And you'll see the names of the locations and whatnot are matching the same ones that we have there. There's the pod name etcd1, etcd0, the service that's exposing them, and so on. And so I've taken it so that we can get it for easy development this way. And so that I personally have everything in one place. So I don't have to try and remember how to log in everywhere. But for what you guys are doing, you're going to be using the internal configuration eventually that you can access without leaving the cluster to be able to get your data. The trouble is being able to develop it right now. And so for right now, all I need you to do is get the queries right. You can use these data sources that I've made available to get the queries right, package that up as variables so that they're not hard coded, set those as variables. And when you give me the code, you're going to give me, again, a deployable application. You're going to give me the next JS deployable application like you always do. I will package it and put it into the Kubernetes cluster and make it generic so that all of those variables are populated to match the ones that are inside the cluster. I hope that that makes sense because I know it's a little bit confusing, like why I'm giving you this external resource when you're writing an internal one. Why is it not cloud enabled and all that kind of stuff? But that's what I wanted you to see. You guys live inside this uh, Kubernetes cluster. And that's the only place you'll ever be able to see out of. But the good news is everything's available for you all inside. I will set it so that you have access to the right metrics and things like that. All you guys have to do is get the queries right and make it so that the hosts and ports are able to be set at runtime. And then when I write the deployment descriptors so that you guys can go into the Kubernetes instance, I will set those variables to be correct so that it's running against the local metrics databases. I hope that made sense. If you have any more questions, we're going to talk, I think, later this week. But I thought maybe this would be a good way to get started. Thanks, guys, and we'll talk soon.